The stars above shimmered like tiny diamonds scattered across black velvet, far away from the home humans once knew, on a distant alien planet. The sky was strange deep green and purple, with two suns casting sharp shadows across the barren land. From the darkness of space, a small vessel descended, moving slowly yet steadily, its metal body glinting as it broke the atmosphere. Inside the vessel, Earth's prototype stirred, its sensors activating, scanning the foreign world below. Curious, cautious, ready for anything, the alien queen watched from her palace high on a crystal cliff, her many eyes narrowing as she observed the approaching craft. She had ruled this planet for centuries, and nothing, no life, no machine had ever surprised her before. Yet there was something different about this human creation, something she could not immediately understand. Her antennas twitched, and her claws tapped rhythmically against the crystalline floor as she whispered to herself, "What is this?" The prototype's landing was smooth but precise. Dust rose in golden clouds as the hatch opened. A single human figure stepped out, calm but alert, every movement measured and confident. The aliens in the palace below gasped, whispering among themselves in a language that sounded like wind through glass. No one had seen a human prototype in their world before, and no one could predict what it might do next. The alien queen descended from her throne, her regal cloak flowing behind her, covering a body that was tall, elegant, and fearsome. Her multiple arms moved gracefully, yet there was a tension in her movements, a sign of curiosity mixed with caution. She approached the prototype slowly, studying it, trying to guess its weaknesses, its limits, and its purpose. Her eyes, wide and unblinking, reflected the strange suns, giving her an almost hypnotic glow. The human prototype, for its part, did not rush, did not speak, did not flinch. It simply stood there, observing the alien queen and her world, its head turning slightly as if reading every motion, every intent, every silent signal. The queen tried to intimidate, extending one arm slowly toward the prototype, expecting it to react, but instead, the human moved in a way no alien could anticipate, sidestepping, gently yet firmly, perfectly in control. A murmur ran through the alien observers. The queen's pride had been challenged. She was used to dominance, to immediate submission or fear, but this human did not even hesitate. Her confidence faltered for a moment, and she almost lost her poise, a rare thing for one who had ruled so long. The prototype seemed simple, fragile even, yet there was an aura of strength and intelligence that no one could deny. For a brief second, time seemed to stretch. The suns flickered in the alien sky, and a strange quiet fell over the planet. The queen extended another arm, this time more boldly, testing the boundaries, trying to provoke a reaction. The human prototype tilted its head, not out of fear, but curiosity, as if wondering why this being acted in such a strange way. Then, without warning, it stepped closer, just enough to surprise the queen, and the unexpected proximity made her pause. Something inside her stirred, an emotion she had not felt in centuries: confusion, fascination, and a little amusement. No one had ever dared approach her like this, not even the bravest alien warriors. The prototype's movements were deliberate, yet unpredictable, a mix of human instinct and machine precision, and as the queen watched, she realized that this simple human creation might be far more than it appeared. The alien queen's claws hovered mid-air, trembling just slightly, and her voice, soft yet commanding, cut through the silence. You are not like the others," she said, almost to herself, almost in disbelief. The prototype said nothing, its sensors blinking in a rhythm that almost seemed like a heartbeat. And in that instant, a new game began, one of observation, challenge, and unspoken tension. The queen's curiosity grew, but so did a warning deep inside her mind, a small voice telling her that humans were never simple. The stage was set, the players were in place, and a story unlike any the alien world had ever seen was about to unfold. The prototype had arrived, unassuming yet powerful, ready to surprise, ready to challenge, ready to change everything. And the alien queen had no idea what was coming next. The alien queen watched the human prototype closely, her many eyes narrowing. As she tried to read its next move, every muscle in her body was tense, every thought focused on understanding this strange creature from a distant planet. No alien had ever dared to approach her palace so confidently, and yet here it stood, calm, steady, unafraid, Her antennas twitched nervously, betraying the pride she normally carried like armor. She stepped closer, her multiple arms flowing gracefully in the air, each movement precise, each gesture meant to show power. The prototype tilted its head slightly, as if studying her in return, its human eyes calm but curious. A shiver ran through the palace guards, watching from above, unsure if they should intervene or stay hidden. The tension in the air was thick, electric, and even the alien winds seemed to pause for a moment, watching the encounter. The queen reached out with one arm, wanting to feel the human's composition, its strength, its weaknesses. She expected it to flinch, to react in fear, to bow, or to retreat, but it did nothing. Instead, it remained still, its senses glowing faintly, as if silently asking, "Why do you touch me?" The queen's confidence wavered slightly, a rare sight for one who ruled an entire planet. Her curiosity grew stronger, and she decided to try something bolder. Moving closer, extending another arm. This time, she wanted to test the human's reactions more directly, to see if he could truly feel and respond. The prototype stepped back slightly, just enough to avoid her touch, but still close enough to surprise her. For the first time in centuries, the queen felt a small, strange emotion. Was it amusement or confusion? Maybe both. Interesting, she whispered under her breath, her voice soft but commanding, echoing across the crystalline palace walls. The prototype tilted its head again, blinking in a way that seemed almost human, almost mocking. It did not speak, it did not flinch. It simply observed her, as if silently saying, "Do your worst. I am ready." The queen felt her pride stir, and with it, a small, dangerous excitement. She had never met a creature so fearless. She tried a different tactic, moving one arm in a circular motion, a gesture meant to intimidate. The human prototype did not step back this time, only adjusted its stance, keeping its balance perfectly. The queen's claws hovered mid-air, trembling just slightly, her mind racing to understand this anomaly. Her inner voice screamed, "This human is unlike any life form I have encountered." Suddenly, she reached out with both arms at once, trying to feel the human simultaneously. She wanted to understand its strength, its density, its very essence. But the human moved with lightning speed, not to attack, but to adjust its position with perfect balance. The queen's arms met empty air, her claws grazing nothing, and she nearly stumbled forward, embarrassed. The palace guards gasped in unison, muttering under their breaths. The queen straightened, her pride slightly wounded, but her curiosity now stronger than ever. She realized humans were not merely fragile beings, they were clever, adaptable, unpredictable. Something inside her shifted, a small respect forming for this creature that dared to challenge her control. The prototype took a small step closer, closing the distance once again. The queen froze, unsure how to react, unsure what this meant. Was it boldness, defiance, or simply confidence born from an unknown human instinct? She could not tell, and that uncertainty both thrilled and unnerved her. Her mind raced as she whispered to herself, "No being has ever tested me like this. I must understand it fully." But the more she observed, the more unpredictable it became. The human prototype had arrived quietly, yet already it had begun to rewrite the rules of her world, and the alien queen had no idea what would happen. Next, a new game had begun, one of testing, probing, and subtle challenge. And the audience watching this encounter, unseen, could sense that the queen's next move might surprise even her. The stage was set for something extraordinary, and the human prototype was ready. Silent, still, but infinitely more powerful than the queen could yet imagine. The alien queen's eyes narrowed, her pride pushing her forward despite the strange feelings bubbling inside. She had ruled this world for centuries, yet this human prototype was making her question everything she thought she knew. Her multiple arms hovered in the air, moving in patterns meant to intimidate, to control, to dominate. But the prototype remained calm, steady, unshaken, almost as if it could sense her thoughts before she acted. "Curious creature," she muttered, her voice soft yet powerful, echoing across the crystal palace. She decided to test its limits. Again, a bold move this time, extending all her arms toward the prototype at once. The palace trembled slightly as energy crackled through the air, a warning of her strength, of her authority. But the human prototype did not retreat, did not flinch. It simply adjusted its stance with perfect balance. The queen's eyes widened in surprise. No being had ever done this before. She moved faster now, circling around the prototype, trying to confuse it, to overwhelm it. Yet every time she lunged or shifted, the prototype anticipated her, sidestepping in a way that was almost playful. It moved with a grace that was both human and machine-like, a combination that left the queen unsettled. For the first time in centuries, she felt a flicker of doubt, a small seed of uncertainty. Her mind raced. How can something so small, so seemingly fragile, be so aware? The palace guards gasped, some whispering in fear, others in awe. They had never seen their queen challenged so completely. And yet none could look away. The queen decided to try a new tactic. She focused her energy, summoning a small force field around the prototype. Her plan was simple: trap it, feel it, understand it fully, and assert her dominance. But the prototype reacted instantly, its sensors flickering, calculating, predicting. The next move, it moved with a sudden, unexpected speed, slipping out of the energy field before the queen could react. Her multiple arms swung, her claws barely grazing the human as it danced away. A soft hum of amusement escaped the prototype, almost like laughter, though it made no sound. The queen paused, stunned. This creature was not only strong, it was clever. Her pride burned, yet a small spark of respect began to form inside her. "Impossible," she whispered, her antennae trembling slightly. "No human has ever dared." The prototype tilted, its head observing her carefully, its movements deliberate, precise, yet natural. It did not attack. It did not provoke yet somehow. It was in control of the situation. The queen's mind spun as she realized that every attempt she made to dominate was met with calm defiance. Frustration and fascination battled inside her, making her act more boldly, more recklessly. She lunged again, faster, sharper, expecting the prototype to falter, to react like any ordinary being. But the human anticipated her move, sidestepping with perfect timing, causing the queen to fumble slightly. Her arms missed entirely, and for the first time, the queen felt the sting of embarrassment. The palace trembled as she tried to regain her composure, her pride bruised but not broken. She watched the human prototype carefully, her mind racing with new calculations, new strategies. Something inside her warned. This human was not like any other life she had encountered. It was clever, adaptable, unpredictable, and it was already changing the rules of her world. The prototype stepped closer again, calmly, silently, its sensors flickering with a strange rhythm. The queen froze, unsure what this meant, unsure if it was boldness, defiance, or curiosity. All she knew was that she had never met a being that could challenge her so completely, and for the first time, the alien queen realized that she might not be the one in control. The stage was set for something extraordinary, and the human prototype was ready. Silent, unassuming, yet infinitely more dangerous than anyone could have imagined. The queen's curiosity burned hotter than ever, but so did a small spark of fear, and she knew whatever happened next would change everything. The alien queen's pride surged as she stared at the human prototype. For centuries, she had ruled without challenge, and no creature had dared to surprise her. Yet this small, unassuming being had already outmaneuvered her. Her many eyes glinted with determination, her arms poised for a bold strike. She decided to act decisively this time, to show the human who truly held power. Her body glowed faintly as she summoned a surge of energy, the palace walls trembling with her strength. With every movement, she intended to overwhelm, to test the limits of the human prototype. Her claws stretched forward, fingers curling with purpose, ready to assert dominance. But the human was ready. In its own quiet way, it did not run, it did not flinch. It simply observed her, its sensors scanning, calculating, predicting. Then, in a move that stunned even the palace guards, it sidestepped with perfect timing. The queen's claws met empty air, her strike passing through nothing but shimmering dust. A flicker of disbelief crossed her face. Impossible, she thought. No life form had ever anticipated her strike before, let alone dodged it with such precision. She tried again, faster this time, moving in a pattern meant to confuse the human. But every move she made was countered, every strike avoided, leaving her off balance for a moment. The alien queen's confidence faltered, her usual grace became chaotic, her pride bruised by the cleverness of this human prototype. The palace guards whispered among themselves, some in awe, some in fear. Even the winds outside seemed to pause, sensing the unexpected turn of events. The queen tried something bolder, summoning all her energy into one powerful strike. She thought this would surely overpower the human, make it submit, make it feel her strength. But the prototype, calm as ever, shifted its stance, anticipating her energy. The queen swung, aiming precisely, only to fumble again, her attack missing entirely. Her multiple arms twitched, her claws scraping the crystalline floor. A rare blush of frustration crossed her face, her pride shaken more than ever. The human stood unmoved, its senses blinking with a strange rhythm, almost like amusement. It did not laugh, it did not speak, yet the queen could sense a subtle challenge in its silence. For the first time, she felt a mixture of respect and irritation. This was no ordinary being, this was clever, adaptable, unpredictable. Every time she tried to control it, every time she attempted to dominate, the human surprised her. It had turned the tables in ways she could not have imagined. Her pride burned hotter than ever, and yet she could not hide her curiosity. How could something so small, so seemingly fragile, outmaneuver her at every step? Her mind raced, trying to understand, to predict, to regain control. But the human prototype remained calm, silent, and in control in its own mysterious way. The queen paused, breathing heavily. Her pride battered, but her curiosity stronger than ever. She realized that brute force alone would not win this challenge. She needed to understand, to observe, to adapt, and perhaps, for the first time, she was learning. The human prototype had not only survived her tests, it had out her. As the suns cast long shadows across the alien palace, the queen's mind was alive with plans, strategies, and curiosity, and the human prototype, silent and unassuming, stood ready. A quiet smile of anticipation seemed to flicker in its senses, hinting at even greater surprises to come. The stage was set for the final act, the ultimate challenge, and the alien queen, for all her power and pride, was about to discover just how extraordinary humans could be. The alien queen's eyes burned with intensity as she faced the human prototype. Her pride had been tested, her strength challenged, and her confidence shaken. Every attack she had made was dodged, every strategy countered, and now, standing before her, the human remained calm, silent, and in control. She could feel a strange tension in the air, thick and heavy, as if the planet itself held its breath. For centuries, she had ruled but now a small human was rewriting the rules. Her multiple arms hovered in the air, poised for one final strike, but deep inside, she hesitated, unsure if even her power could succeed this time. The human prototype tilted its head, senses flickering softly, as if inviting her to try. It moved with an air of confidence, precise and deliberate, yet natural. It did not attack, it did not taunt, it simply waited, ready for whatever came next. The queen's pride flared, forcing her forward, stronger and faster than ever. She struck with all her might, energy blazing from every limb. The palace shook, walls quivered, and the suns above cast sharp shadows. But the human, anticipating her every move, stepped aside with perfect timing. Her claws met empty air once more, and the queen stumbled, off balance for the first time in centuries. The human's calm presence seemed almost like a lesson in humility. Every strike, every attempt to dominate, was met with patience and cleverness. The queen's pride clashed with her growing admiration for this strange being, and in that moment, she realized humans were not just clever, they were unpredictable, unstoppable. She tried to recover, summoning all her energy for one last, decisive maneuver, but the human prototype, steady and silent, moved with sudden precision. It shifted its position, subtly but perfectly, and the queen's strike missed again. She staggered, realizing she had been outmatched, not by brute strength, but by ingenuity. The palace guards gasped, whispering among themselves. The queen's frown softened, replaced by a rare expression of respect. She had underestimated humans, thinking them fragile, weak, predictable. But the prototype had proven that even the smallest being could challenge the strongest. The queen lowered her arms slowly, her pride intact but her perspective forever changed. "Remarkable," she muttered, her antennae trembling slightly. "You are unlike anything I have known." The human prototype said nothing, but its steady stance, its calm gaze, spoke louder than words. It had survived. It had adapted. It had won the unspoken battle of wits and skill. For the first time, the alien queen smiled, a small, genuine expression of amusement and respect. She realized that humans were more than they seemed: clever, daring, resilient. The human prototype had not just survived, had rewritten the rules of engagement, and in doing so, it had earned the queen's respect, and perhaps a hint of fear as the sun set across the alien sky. Casting long shadows over the crystalline palace, the queen stepped back, observing the human with renewed curiosity. She knew this was not the end, but rather the beginning of something extraordinary, for even the most powerful alien could not predict the full potential of a human, and the human prototype stood silently, sensors glowing softly, unassuming, patient, and infinitely clever. It had arrived quietly, but it had changed everything, and in that moment, the alien queen understood it.